Our guest is voice actor Bob Bergen. If you could share a scoop of ice cream with anyone, who would it be?
My mom.
How did your career as a voiceover actor start?
That's easy. My mom gave me ice cream. No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to be Porky Pig when I was a 5-year-old kid, and I was lucky enough that my dad moved the family to LA when I was 14, and I picked up the phone and I called Mel Blanc, and I crashed a recording session, and I started studying voiceover, and a week in high school I got an A, and 5 years later I was a working actor, and 4 years after that I auditioned for Porky Pig. So that was a long story that I took very little time to answer.
Was Porky Pig your first voiceover gig?
No, it wasn't, but that was my goal. I wanted to be Porky Pig since I was a 5-year-old child. And that was my goal in life. I was fortunate enough to be able to get it. My first job was a cartoon called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. My first big job was a movie called Gremlins.
What has been your favorite character to voice?
Porky Pig.
When did you know being a voice actor was something you wanted to pursue?
When I was 5 years old.
Can we hear your best Tweety Bird voice?
Oh, this is my best Tweety Bird voice, you big little putty cat.
What about Porky Pig?
Yeah, but this is my best pig voice, and I'm Jewish.
How do you get into character?
Oh, for Porky, I'm more comfortable playing Porky than I am doing my own voice. So it's very, very easy. I don't even have to think about it.
It just comes out.
But for original characters, you really have to think about it. You got to think about, there's a picture of the character, there's the description, there's the dialogue, there's the relationship they have with other characters. So there's a lot to think about. And then once you book an original character, it takes several episodes before you really own it. But for a classic character like, Porky that I've been doing forever, it's a breeze.
What was your experience like hosting JEP?
Amazingly fun, and the most challenging job I ever had. Because, well, first of all, it was on camera, and I had to shave, and I hate shaving. But, as the host of a show, you can't make it about you. It has to be about the show and the contestants. So I had to run the show. I had to listen carefully. It was really cool. It was really fun. We walk out on a stage when you're hosting, and here's your host Bob Bergen, and you walk out there and you hear the Jeopardy music. It's like, wow, this is kind of surreal. So it was really cool.
And I see you are from St. Louis. What was your experience like growing up there?
St. Louis is still my hometown, even though I left when I was really young. And St. Louis is great. I actually, if the cartoon industry was in St. Louis, I'd still be living in St. Louis. I like the Midwest lifestyle. I miss the familiarity. It's all about Steak and Shake, which was our local hamburger joint. St. Louis is great.
And I read that you moved to LA because of your father's job. Was your family also interested in voice acting?
Not at all. No. I think my dad was an amateur, in his head, radio announcer. He used to walk around the house doing his mock version of whatever KMOX radio announcers did when he was growing up. But no, my dad was in sales, and my mom, when they first got married, was a school teacher. And so I was the only one who had, stupidity to say I want to be an actor.
When did you know being a voiceover actor was your passion in life?
I knew I wanted to be Porky Pig when I was 5 years old, and I found out, it's acting. I didn't realize doing cartoons was a thing. I just knew it was a skill I had. I didn't realize it was a business, and I also didn't realize that it was something that you could actually pursue. So when I was 14 and I started calling classes, that's when I found out, I have to study acting. I've got to be a member of a union. I got to get an agent. It's a business as well as a fun skill. So once I was 14 and started investigating what the business was all about, that's when I really started to realize I want to be in this business.
Tell us about your character in Monsters, Inc.
Well, here's the deal. You work on a film, and then 3 or 4 years later, it comes out, and that was so long ago. I think I played Orange. Decontamination guys. I don't watch a lot of my movies. And again, for me, the fun is in the doing, not the viewing.
What's your favorite genre to act in?
I'm going to say sitcoms, and I haven't done a lot of them. I haven't done a sitcom probably for 30 years.
What's the best thing to happen to you this year?
I signed an NDA, but it was really cool. I just can't talk about it.
What has been your most embarrassing moment in your career?
It happened on JEP. When you do a game show, when you host a game show, you do 5 shows in one day. And in between show 3 and 4, I went to the men's room, and while I'm in the men's room, I heard speaker mix on, because I was wearing a mic right here. And so, oh my mic off. So that was probably the most embarrassing to happen to me.
What movie has been your favorite to be a part of?
Anything with Pixar. Emperor's New Groove is one that comes to mind because I got to play a fun little squirrel. That was kind of cool.
Tell us about your role in Despicable Me 3.
When you look at the scroll of an animated feature, you'll see a clump of actors that says additional voices. Those are us non-well-known celebrity people who will do 20 characters in one scene. We're utility players. Again, it was Illumination, another company that is amazing to work with, just so available to what actors have to offer on the stage.
Do you do anything special to preserve your voice?
Yeah, I don't talk when I get home. I mean, when the phone rings, I let the voicemail pick it up because I just want to save my voice for. And, I have auditions throughout the day. I have a home studio, so it may be 3 o'clock and nothing's going on, and all of a sudden I get a note from my agent. Hey, can you read this for me? It's due in 20 minutes, and I have to go in and read it. So I pretty much I'm on voice rest.
Which do you prefer voicing more, video games or movies?
Movies. I am not a fan of voicing video games. You work by yourself. They're a little tedious. You have to give the players every possible option. You might have 20 pages of quick go left, quick go right, quick go up, quick go down. Yeah, and movies, without a doubt.
What was it like being nominated for 2 Emmys?
Surreal. I'll tell you what happened. I was at the computer, and when they had Emmy nominations, and I just got this little flash that said Emmy nominations today, first time, and I'm just checking to see who got what, and I got to the best animation, and I got to the list, and I went, oh, well, that person has the same name I do. Oh, that's me. So that was really, really cool. That was really cool. It's very surreal, and it really is an honor to be nominated. I mean, it would have been lovely to win. I mean, I would love to show you a statue of an Emmy. I can only show you a pig, but it would have been cool to win. But it was fun.
What kind of training do you go through as a voice actor?
Oh, my goodness. Acting training. I did 2 years at an acting conservatory. I did 3 years of improv, and I did 5 years of voiceover classes with a million teachers. So those who are listening or watching this and they're thinking, oh, I want to get into voiceover, you don't just take a class, buy a microphone, and do it. It takes a lot of work.
How long does it typically take to record a scene?
Well, a half-hour cartoon is a 4-hour session, and if you're working on an editor, they've got you up to 8 hours a day. So they may need you for 2 hours. They may need you for 15 8-hour days. So there's no set amount of time to record a cartoon. It's all different.
What was it like being a part of the Looney Tunes show?
Oh, it's blast. Oh, my God. I'm living a dream. I wanted to be Porky Pig when I was 5 years old. I can't imagine anybody else being as lucky as I am doing what I'm doing.
Have you ever done in front of the camera acting?
Yes. I hosted a game show, Jeff. I did, back in the 80s, a bunch of sitcoms. I did Facts of Life, Give Me a Break. Did a few soap operas, but I don't like memorization, and if you can look closely, I don't like shaving. So the microphone is my friend.
What is it like watching your work come together?
I am not a fan of watching my work. I will watch the Looney Tunes stuff because the writing is so good. I'm very, very curious because you record the voices first and then they animate it later. So I'm always curious to see how the finished product looks. I haven't seen a lot of my movies because I get very, very picky. I'll hear a take and I'll be like, ooh, that's the take they decided to go with. Oh, can I do it again? But I recorded it 3 years ago. So there is no another take. I got to live with it. So I'm very picky and very, I'm a perfectionist.
You also do a one-man show. Where do you get your inspiration?
It's autobiographical. It's the story of a nice Jewish boy who wanted to be Porky Pig. My grandmother bought me a tape recorder when I was a kid, and I started recording myself in cartoons and moving to LA and calling Mel Blanc and crashing a recording session and paying my dues or eating, being a tour guide at Universal Studios. So it's that story.
When doing voiceovers, does the cast do them together or individually?
It depends. If it's a series, they will get as many actors as they can who are available in the room. If it's a feature, then you might be a victim of just you and the director. Like, for instance, in The Emperor's New Groove, I played a squirrel, and Patrick Warburton played Kronk, who was my scene partner. And he and I have amazing on-screen chemistry. The two of us have never shared a studio together. So that's a great director and good editing. I much prefer working with the actors, though.
What has been your most difficult role?
I don't have one. I don't mean to be pompous or anything, but They're not difficult. This is, I don't. Oh, well, okay. Emperor's New Groove. Bucky the Squirrel. I didn't audition for it. They just called me up. The casting director is somebody I knew I'd worked with at Disney a lot. And she said, be at Disney on this day. I want you to go and play a squirrel in a movie. I went, all right. So I get to the studio, and I said to the director, what do you want for this squirrel? And he said, well, Patrick Warburton plays Kronk, and he speaks squirrel. And I said, okay. So he said, he'll say squeak, squeak, and squeak, squeak, and you'll answer him. And I said, do you want me to say squeak, squeak, and squeak, squeak? He said, no, I need you to create a language for the squirrel. And I said, well, can I think about it for a little bit? And he goes, yeah, take your time. So I go outside, and Disney, the lot, looks like a park. And there's a park bench next to a grassy little area. And I said, I swear to you, the squirrel came running down a tree up to my feet, stood on its hind legs, and looked at me, and he went, and I went, thank you. So I went inside, and I said to Mark Dindal, the director, and I said, how about this? He said, squeak, squeak, and squeak, squeak, and I went, he went, that works. So somewhere there's a squirrel at Disney that I owe a lot of money to.
What's a day in your life look like?
Every day is different, but it starts with my coffee maker is on timer, and it starts brewing at 5 a.m. because I'm up early. I have an agent in New York that needs my auditions in by 9 o'clock New York, 6 o'clock my time. Once I finish my auditions, which is usually about 8 or 9 o'clock here, if I have to go out to do other auditions or jobs, I do that. Some days I have to leave my house by 6 o'clock to get to the studio by 9 if I have a 9 to 6 session for a feature. Looney Tunes is every Tuesday at 2, so I'm in Burbank 2 to 6. Every day is different. I wish I could tell you that I have a set 9 to 5 sort of itinerary, but I don't. Every day is totally different.
Who inspires you the most?
I'm inspired by the people who did it before me. Mel Blanc, June Foray. I'm part of the planning committee for her memorial next week. June would have been 100 on Monday. She was Rocky the Flying Squirrel. She was my granny when I did Tweety. So, Don Messick, Frank Welker, who's not dead, he's still with us. Hi, Frank, how are you? The people that started and the people that I get to work with every day inspire me.
What projects are you currently working on?
New Looney Tunes, which is we're recording season 3 and they're airing season 1, so we'll be doing that for a while. I just did an episode of Curious George. I didn't sign an NDA for that. I did a Robot Chicken that'll be on sometime in the next probably few months. I didn't sign an NDA for that.
If you could be remembered for anything, what would it be?
Probably just a good person. I mean, I think that people trump careers anyway, so I would hopefully just a good friend, good person, good family member.
What advice would you give to aspiring voice actors?
The most important word that you just said is actor. It's not voices, it's acting. It's creating characters. So study acting first. Study acting, study improv, then study voiceover. Become a great actor. Don't go into this business for the money. Because if you go into this business for the money, it'll never be enough. You may have a goal to make $50,000, and you make $50,000, and you're like, well, now what? You go in. You got to get a high at the mic. If you get as much satisfaction in the audition as you do in the job, you're in the right business. But become a really, really good actor. And it's not about what everybody else is doing. It's about being original and diversity in your career.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I honestly doing exactly what I'm doing. I have no desire to retire. There's no reason to. If anything, if I do anything different, it'll be like, I may want to travel more and not work as much, but I would never retire. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, the characters keep living on. So, I want to keep doing it as long as I can.
What is something you want to say to your followers?
Keep following me, folks.
No, thanks for watching. Thanks. I live in a very nice house because of you people. Because of social media, I'm on Twitter at Bob Bergen. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And because of being able to reach out to people, more people know us faceless voices than ever before. So that's kind of cool.
Can you give us your best scoop of advice?
Enjoy the journey because, the good happens for a reason and the bad reason. But if you enjoy this, you'll get through everything really, really good.